we interrupt the internet with breaking news.
This just in, a dog turned SEPTA into an emotional support ledge. Massachusetts invented a tiny rolling pub because apparently regular bars were too stationary. And horses? Turns out they've been whistling this whole time. Good evening, unless you're watching this at breakfast, in which case I apologize to your toast for what's about to happen. I'm Bob, and I'm here to fight the news. The news, meanwhile, has decided to become a public transit system with a bar attached. First up, Philadelphia had to stop and ask an important question. Why is there a dog on the train support beam? A dog got stranded on an elevated SEPTA track support beam in Philly, which is not where you want to realize your walk got a little too freelance. That dog looked at public transportation and said, what if I used it wrong, but with confidence? And honestly, that's the most Philadelphia thing imaginable. Not the rescue. The idea that even the dog was like, nah, I'm not paying for parking. Put a tiny transit map in his mouth and send it to the judges. Bob takes the early lead, but the news comes out aggressive with unauthorized commuter behavior. Our main event, two Massachusetts brothers built a fleet of tiny Irish pubs on wheels and now tow them to parties all over New England. That's right, they made miniature Irish pubs you can tow to your house because apparently somebody looked at going out for drinks and said, no, bring me a themed structure. This is such an aggressively specific dream. Not a food truck, not a trailer, a tiny pub. That's not a business idea. That's what happens when nostalgia gets access to wheels. And I respect the commitment. They didn't just make a bar, they made a whole little emotional support Ireland you can back into your cul-de-sac. Imagine your neighbor peeks through the blinds and sees a fully decorated pub parked next to your garage. At that point, property values are no longer measured in dollars, they're measured in Guinness potential. At least the dog in round one only disrupted transit. These guys disrupted the concept of, I'll just have one. Give me the score before somebody parallel parks a Shamrock. The news answers back in round two with a devastating combination of wheels, wood paneling, and beverages with a zip code. And now science has revealed that horses make their winning with a mix of vocalizing and actual whistling. Excuse me? Horses have been out here sounding dramatic on purpose? That's not a noise anymore. That's a production value. Scientists looked into a horse whining and discovered it's part singing, part whistling, which means every horse has secretly been doing a one-animal duet this entire time.
You could also hear the difference between the two tones.
So now when a horse neighs, I'm not hearing a farm animal. I'm hearing Broadway understudy who just got bad brunch service. And that explains the attitude. Of course horses act like that. They're walking around with built-in wind instruments judging everybody in the parking lot. I need a scoreboard and maybe a stable acoustics engineer. After 3 rounds, this fight has become a championship bout between one man and a reality that keeps adding instruments. Just when you think the news is tired, it sneaks in 3 little uppercuts. Giant tortoises were released back onto Florida Island in the Galápagos after more than 150 years, which means nature is finally getting a reboot with slower load times. A Florida cat had surgery after swallowing 26 hair ties, which is not a medical mystery. That is a tiny goblin making choices. Britain's first elephant shoe pups were born at a zoo and nicknamed the Snootlets, which sounds less like conservation and more like a children's band that opens for chaos. We are tied after the bonus round, and somewhere the judges are reviewing footage of the Snootlets in slow motion. What we learned. Public transit is only one small dog away from becoming a vertical adventure sport. New England will apparently put anything on wheels if you add enough wood trim and sentiment. And horses have apparently been freelancing as whistles this whole time. After official review, 3 late points go to the news for emotional damage, mobile pub architecture, and covert horse woodwinds. Until next time, good night, stay weird, and if a tiny Irish pub shows up in your driveway, just accept that your neighborhood has entered Phase 2.